blame them for wanting everything to be okay. But everything is not okay. This is what's going to happen, okay? The IPCC, the International Panel on Climate Change, actually made very, very conservative estimates. And in fact, if you really know the science, many of us were very disappointed in the IPCC because we really felt they understated the case. To talk realistically, okay, I was involved in data entry for a climate modeling simulation back in the 1980s, which proved global warming beyond a shadow of a doubt and predicted exactly the amount of warming that we are now seeing. And according to those simulations back then, and also even according to the new simulations we have now, this is what's going to happen. Our polar ice caps are going to melt. Our oceans are going to start getting more heat, and then the Earth is going to heat up, and every degree hotter that the Earth's surface gets is going to be much more water evaporating off of the ocean. And when water evaporates off the ocean, it's got to come back down. And this is a problem, because when you're evaporating more and more and more water up into the atmosphere, your storms are going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. We're going to end up, if we do not watch ourselves, we're going to end up with, where we are right now, 130 degrees in the daytime. This is only 50, 60 years off, okay? 130 degrees. Where we're sitting right now, can you imagine? Okay? At the equator, it will be 150 degrees in the daytime. And you know, the saving grace might be, oh, well, there'll be more precipitation, so all you have to do is wait for the rain to go outside. But there's a problem. By virtue of having that much more energy involved in evaporating the water and having that much more water up there, the storms are going to increase in power by orders of magnitude. So where we now think of rain as something that happens in inches, we're going to start having rain in feet, and then we're going to start having rain in meters. How would that be? You know, your grandchildren turn on the weather report. Oh, 17 meters of rain all through the northwest today. Okay? Imagine that right here, where we're sitting right now. This entire valley would be completely flooded over above our heads if that happened. Like flash flood, almost instantaneously. That's not even the worst problem, though. The bigger problem is these storms are going to increase in power, they're going to increase in force, and they're going to therefore increase in velocity. We're going to end up with winds 300, 400, 500 miles per hour. We're going to have what's called supercell storms, and they're going to rip through. There's layers of the atmosphere, and right now, storms are pretty much stuck to the very bottom layers of the atmosphere. But what we're going to do if we don't stop global warming is we're going to have these funnel storms that are going to pierce up through upper layers of the atmosphere, and that is very scary, because when you get that kind of funnel that actually goes up all the way into basically zero pressurization, okay, you get even another new way to make the storm move faster, because you've got essentially the Earth's rotation that it's now pulling into that, and you've got zero pressurization that's pulling into that. So you've got a storm that's pressured itself up into the upper atmosphere on one hand, but on the center of that storm, you've got a low pressure zone that's now plugged directly into the upper atmosphere and is sucking the upper atmosphere down. And this is going to cause incredible storms like the Earth has not seen probably since the very beginning, since right after the Earth cooled, since right after the solar system first became solid. There probably have not been storms like that on this planet in a very long time. So we cannot afford to do this anymore. You cannot afford to say, oh, global warming isn't real because I want to drive my car and because Rush Limbaugh told me so. It's not going to work like that. We have a choice. We can have easy, cheap, clean, renewable energy, or we can destroy life on Earth as we know it. And it is a very simple and very straightforward choice. And anybody who thinks, oh, global warming isn't real, oh, that's just a scare tactic, they don't know what they're talking about. They're ignorant. Pure and simple. So we must change course absolutely right now. We must absolutely, completely change our direction. Now, people say, oh, but we couldn't do that because it would destroy the economy. But wait a sec. What did we just discuss? We just discussed cost-benefit analysis, right? Well, guess what? Changing over to green renewable energy would actually boom the economy. You've got a problem right now. The economy is falling apart. Why is it falling apart? It's got a lot of reasons for falling apart, but one key reason why it's falling apart is peak oil. Oil is going up and up and up and up in price, and as it goes up in price, it costs more to move things around the globe. And when it costs more to move things around the globe, your groceries cost more, and everything else costs more, and it costs more to send a letter, and everything starts to cost more money, right? Well, if we change over to green energy and green cars and electric cars and mass transit systems that are directly plugged into the grid, all of a sudden the economy booms. All of a sudden the economy expands. So there's nothing to be afraid of except inaction, except stalling out, except continuing the lies. Those are what are killing us. There's nothing to be afraid of but fear itself. That's really true, especially in this case. Our fear of, oh my gosh, well, we need our cars and we need our fossil fuels, and I want to be able to go to the pump and fill up my Buick, and I want my muscle car to get 160 miles on the freeway, even though I'm not allowed to drive that fast, right? All of these fears are being played on by the evil people who want us to, buy their oil, buy their biofuels, have nuclear power plants, right? All of these fears are being played on, and we're being kept in the dark, and we're being lied to, and we're being manipulated, all so that they can make money over the short term. And it's crazy. We have to stop, and we have to realize that not only is all of that crazy for the reasons we just talked about, but technology itself is being held down, right? The advances that we could have been making in technology are not happening because we're keeping technology primitive on purpose in order for these people to keep making money. So, and there are a lot of examples of that for cars. You want to talk about fuel efficiency, I want to know why we don't have 150 miles to the gallon for our cars right now, and why we don't have centripetal internal combustion engines, or what are called rotary turbine internal combustion engines, instead of piston engines. Because when a piston goes up, it stops, and it loses energy right there. It goes pop, stop. All that energy is lost in the engine, and the heat that's generated is basically how that energy is transmitted, right? And then the piston goes down, and it stops, and it loses energy, right? Well, in a rotary turbine combustion engine, you got fuel being sprayed into the circle and pushing a rotary turbine, and there's no lost energy. It just keeps going around and around and around the circle. So it's an order of magnitude more efficient than any piston engine.